Here on Wesley Impact, I'm making a priority to include music on the programme. And as you know, we're led by our very talented musical director, Craig Gower, who's been working on the Christian music scene for well over 30 years in Australia and around the world. And we invite singers and songwriters from all over the country to be part of what we do. Now, there are only a handful of gospel singers and songwriters, and I've just said Craig, but I've got another one that I want to introduce you to, somebody who's stood the test of time. I'm pleased to invite, of all the people who have lasted that time, Robyn Green. Welcome, Robyn.
Thank you.
I really need to say you started very young, don't I, if I make a statement like that? Look, for over 30 years in the gospel music business, have you ever felt you've had to compromise your Christian message, or in a period like that?
Made a decision when I first started singing gospel music to never compromise.
And that decision you've really held to all through that period of time?
Yes.
Now tell me also, this is a difficult question, but it's one that I kind of want to ask. Have you ever felt that the gospel industry is hard when you come into it, and ever felt like giving up?
Many times. You know, I've came in at, I think 1986 is when I first recorded my album, and even back then I thought, oh, you know, as an artist you hope that people like your music, they like your voice. So yeah, it has its moments, and you do feel like giving up, yeah, but you keep pushing through because you have a passion to sing, number one. Well, it's not number one, but you do have a passion to sing, and you want to honour God. So
faith is not just what you sing, it's actually the empowering of what you do as well, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Look, I know you've been doing some recording recently. What's the latest album you've got? It's
called Only You, and you can actually go to my website, robyngreen.com.au, if you'd like to listen to the album, and please do.
Yeah,
I'd love to for you to, you know.
Look, and I also want to say that the family have got drawn into all of this now, haven't they?
I have one son and 3 daughters, and they all sing on the album with me, so they're all doing duets, and I'm really proud. It's the very first time that they've all sung on the album with me. Over 30 years, I've recorded 8 albums.
So during that time, you've been ministering. It's not just been about singing. How have you managed to hold all the family, the work-life balance, as we say today, together?
It is hard. You know, you've got to keep your faith. My children have grown up. My husband and I, we brought them up in the ways of the Lord, and I grew up that way too. My parents were Pastor Peter and Eva Morgan. They were evangelists to Australia. So I've grown up my kids that way as well, to serve God and to honour God in everything that they do. Yeah.
And your parents had a big influence on you?
They certainly did.
I mean, you shared to me about some of those times you travelled with them, and you must have gone to some remote places, mustn't you? And some places where you hadn't met communities before.
Many outback communities. We travelled around Australia 4 times. My parents were called to the Northern Territory in 1965. So we travelled a fair bit around Arnhem Land, ministering to many isolated communities.
Have you ever, is there a song that's special to you of all the ones that you sing? Or, I mean, they're all important, but is there one that, you know, you would
One
say?
little song that I wrote on the very first album is called I'll Go Another Mile for You, Jesus. That gets requested so many times. It's just a little song that I wrote, and it's just so popular. And I still get requested to sing it. So I'll Go Another Mile for You, Jesus. And the other one would have to be We Can Change This Land, in Jesus' name.
And both of those songs have powerful meanings, don't they, for you?
Yes, yeah.
Going the extra mile has had to be how it is, but there's still a conviction. I asked you privately, and I hope you don't mind me asking, how would you say the temperature is in the Indigenous Christian community in this lovely land of ours? Because I think that's important for us to hear.
Look, I think, you know, I travelled a fair bit around this nation, and there are so many wonderful Christian Aboriginal people in our nation who love God, who honour God. And, you know, I've just come from Catherine. I was in Catherine on the weekend, and there were about 30 different communities represented. And it was just so good to see about 1,500 or close to, or it could be more, I wasn't sure, but about 1,500 Aboriginal people gathered from 30 different communities. And it was just so wonderful to see that their faith is still very strong, even in these turbulent times, where Aboriginal people feel that they're still being left in the background, or they're not being given a voice in this nation. There's still a lot of misunderstanding about our people. But I believe that we need to bestow honour.
And it's good for us to hear that there are many Christian people in those communities. Yeah. And instead of what you rightly understand as being left behind, they might lead the way in so many of these Christ-centred ways that we talk about. Let me ask you a question that I think is probably that many people, when they first start to sing, might have an aspiration to be a singer. I'd like to have a ministry. What would you say to somebody who's thinking about, if you like, a life of music ministry?
Make sure it's really what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have knockbacks.
Yeah.
You're going to have setbacks. You may not be the right colour. You may not have the right sound. You know, so you've got, that's always going to be coming against you. But if you want to be a gospel artist, you know, serve God. Make him first and foremost in your life. Honour him with your gift. Do the best that you can with what you have. It's not an easy road, you know, as a musician, as a singer. There's a lot of good singers out there. But I think you also have to have something that's unique. One thing we do have, and that's our faith. So I do want to encourage other up-and-coming singer-songwriters in Australia, just get out there and sing.
Robyn, you've been a marvellous witness, and the story is nowhere near finished yet. You'll continue making that witness, and I just want to congratulate you on your career, but also your family. That's the biggest achievement, you know, not having your name in lights, knowing that your family, you know, they're not out there robbing banks, they're not doing silly things, they have a Christian faith, and now for you, the joy that they're wanting to share in ministry. Just in a sentence or two, if somebody is searching for Jesus Christ, what difference can he make to their lives?
Jesus Christ can give you life, joy and peace, something that the world can't give and the world can't take away.
And that's been something that you've proved during all those years of singing, and I can bear witness to it too.